He came back to look for me. He came back to look for me. This story is uneventful compared to many others on this sub, but I think of it often when I read stories here. 7 years ago, I got married and quit my job with plans to find something I'd like better after the wedding festivities settled down. But as soon as we returned from our short honeymoon, our landlord notified us that they would be doing renovations and thus wouldn't be renewing our lease. So, we had 30 days to find a new place. With our limited income, this was challenging. I spent all day every day looking for a rental that we could afford within driving distance of my husband's job. Finally, I found a small cabin about an hour from his job that included utilities at an affordable price. It was much smaller than our apartment and in the middle of nowhere in the woods, but the landlords were a nice family and we made it work. We moved in and I started spending my days at home alone. I was incredibly depressed at this point in my life, and aside from applying to jobs, I couldn't bring myself to do much most days. I rarely left the house. A few weeks into living there, I felt like pushing myself a bit and got ready to take a walk. It was a sunny break in the middle of a rainy day and I figured some sunshine might do me some good. I threw on boots and a rain jacket just in case and headed out past the property gate. The driveway was situated at an intersection and I had 3 directions to choose from: left, right, and sort of straight. I had driven on the main road that went from left to right, so I decided to try the smaller road ahead of me. All of the roads were very wooded, but this one had fewer houses from what I could see. There was very little traffic on any of the nearby roads, even the main road. It was peaceful and the air was crisp and fresh. These roads didn't have sidewalks, but there was gravel on the side of the road. I wasn't walking very long when a big truck turned from the main road onto the small road I was on. It slowed down a bit as it passed me and I figured they were being cautious to give me enough room as it wasn't a huge road. I smiled and waved my hand briefly in greeting, as you do. I saw an older man with sunglasses turn for a moment and look at me, but he didn't smile. I didn't think much of it as he continued driving along. But as he turned the corner up ahead, I started to feel uncomfortable. Without examining the feeling very long at all, I suddenly decided to leave the road and head into the woods to my left. It was a strange urge, considering I hadn't planned to walk in the woods that day and there certainly wasn't a trail to take. I just felt strongly that I needed to get off the road. Since there wasn't a trail, it wasn't easy terrain to traverse with my rain boots and short legs. I was moving fast and hopping over fallen trees, getting very wet in the tall grass and ferns as I went deeper into the tree line, waiting for the weird feeling in my gut to ease. It finally clicked that the feeling was telling me to hide, but I had no idea why. I started checking behind me to see how far away I was from the road and whether I thought I could be seen. Several yards into the dense woods, I noticed some debris ahead of me and walked towards it. There were huge pieces of metal that looked mechanical, maybe car parts. Realizing that my bright blue raincoat may be easy to spot, I crouched down behind some of the debris and nearby logs to try to blend in better. From walking on the road to squatting in the woods, maybe only 90 seconds had passed. I remember feeling so stupid crouched down in the wet woods, feeling nervous for no reason, and started to feel embarrassed by my actions even though no one else was around to witness them. But the trees around me were so tall and I was keenly aware of the vast open space between the top of my head and the bottom of the canopy. I felt weirdly exposed. Just a few moments later, the same truck that had passed me on the road drove quickly back around the corner and then slowed down on the road I had been walking along. He was hugging the right shoulder, the wrong side of the road, and was driving so slow he was barely moving along, very much like he was looking for something. I froze and hoped I was hidden. I was scared he would spot me and call out to me, or worse, get out of his truck. He probably surged for less than a minute, which felt like several, then turned around and sped back around the corner of the small road. I immediately got up and walked quickly and diagonally through the woods to come out closer to the intersection. I didn't feel scared as much as I felt alert and purposeful. I wanted to avoid interacting with this person again, and I didn't. I made it home wet and confused and didn't take another walk while I lived there. Later, I wondered things like, was this guy really looking for me? Why? Maybe he thought I was lost. Maybe he was lost. Maybe he thought he knew me. I decided it didn't matter. Something about the encounter told me to urgently seek refuge, and I'm glad I listened to myself even without understanding why.